AITA for faking sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying. The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly and that she's frustrated every night, that she has to get up and open the door for the cats, or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I told her I've never seen or heard any of this, but she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats, and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister, until I noticed something. One morning she claimed she had gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird, because I had been up until 4 AM, and she claimed that she got up at 1 AM to open the door for them, and a few times around 3 AM because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom the entire time while she slept, and I know none of that happened. Things weren't adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed. Then I let the cats out of our bedroom, lowered my phone brightness, and faked going to sleep. I just laid there in bed for the entire night, bored. But I definitely did not fall asleep. I made sure to make timestamps every 30 minutes on my phone through Discord just to be sure. I marked down every noise my cats made. One cat had jumped down from something and made a little sound at 3:18 AM. And one ate food relatively quietly by the bedroom door at 4:57 am. Other than that, nothing happened. Sure enough, my wife slept from 11 PM until 9 AM. And that morning she claimed she had woken up at least 7 times to open doors, and from cat noises and cats jumping on her. At this point I was pissed, because she was clearly lying to me. I was exhausted and fed up with the lies. So I just bluntly called her out on it. I told her, "That's funny. I stayed up all night to monitor the cats, and they weren't even in the room at all last night. I have timestamps and everything. So you've been lying to me and trying to convince me to get rid of my cats. Why?" She just sat there quickly shaking and looking pissed, then got up and left without answering. She came back hours later and ignored me whenever I talked, and when I asked her how I'm the bad guy in this situation, she finally said that I was treating her like a child by lying about sleeping and staying up all night just to see if she was lying or not, and that making timestamps and everything, as if I was an investigator, was going too far and makes me an obsessive asshole. I did it because she was threatening to make me get rid of my cats or she'd leave me, and her claims didn't add up. So, am I an obsessive asshole? NTA, in my opinion you had to test her. She's trying to get you to get rid of your pets and essentially blackmailing your relationship over it. What's your next move? I honestly don't know my next move. We've been essentially perfect together for years, and she's never done anything like this before. I didn't even realize she was capable of such immature actions. I mean, I'd hate to have to go through a messy divorce and potentially lose a bunch of my own money items over one lie I've ever caught her in. It might be easier, cheaper to just deal with the situation through couples therapy and give it one more chance. Honestly, though, the prenup we signed would make a potential divorce a lot cleaner. Personally, I did say your next move is to have a mature conversation with her to try to understand her reasoning for what has happened. Think about what your response would be to her possible answers. Try to keep the conversation level-headed and non-confrontational until and unless you are given proof that she lied out of malice. Oh, of course, she may have lied and threatened to leave me, but there's a chance there could be something else going on. Some people are mentioning changes in meds, mental issues, sleep dream problems, and so on. I'm not going to yell at her over it. I just want answers and for her to get some sort of help. The only thing that I can say was inexcusable was the threat. That's really it. NTA. But I cannot help but wonder if your wife has some type of sleep disorder. I suffer from insomnia and fall asleep for just a few minutes at a time some nights and have very vivid, realistic dreams. When I get up in the morning, I struggle sometimes to figure out what was real and what was just a dream. It's possible, theoretically, but she's never mentioned such a thing. She used to get good sleep until recently, though. Even though we had the cats prior, she may not realize she is not actually getting up. Like was said prior, she may be having really vivid, realistic dreams where she is getting up to take care of the cats. It may not necessarily be a sleep disorder, but it could definitely be stress induced, caused by a change in medication, or even a new health issue. You have said this is new behavior, her lying like this. You have never had major issues before, and she had and loved cats. I'm guessing there is something else going on. I came here to comment. This said, during the pandemic this happened to me. My partner is a light sleeper and awake for portions of the night. So when I would wake up panicking about a scratch at the window or hearing our dog, he would confirm that he was just awake and heard nothing. It's a terrifying place to be in when you feel like it's real. What if you suggest staying up together? It's certainly possible she's lying and manipulating you. But since you said she's had cats before, I'm confused why suddenly this is her ultimatum. Update for those who see it. Well, she's gone for now. By that, I mean I kicked her out of the house. Why? Because she's been in the bedroom for hours now, watching YouTube, refusing to talk to me about what's happened. A few minutes ago, one of the cats started meowing and scratching to get into the room. Within seconds of him doing that, she ran over to the door and kicked it really hard and screamed, "This is all your fault. Duck off." It scared the shit out of the cat and he hid under the couch. I opened the door and asked her what her deal was, that it could have hurt the cat, and she said good. Duck the cat. So I told her to get out of the house and go find somewhere to stay for a while. She tried to cry her way out of the situation, but I told her I had enough. I'm done. She had every opportunity to talk to me, and now she's screaming at the cats and kicking doors and scaring them. I tried to listen and offered help, but she wanted none of it. Too late. As she was leaving, I told her she can call me when she's calmed down and willing to talk. I'm just so drained at this point. I tried. I gave her a chance to talk before all of this, and she insisted there was nothing to talk about. I may not have handled it the most mature, healthy way. Sure. But I tried. Maybe this can be fixed. Maybe not. I had hope a few hours ago. Now I just, whatever. I'm so sorry. I think I'm done replying for now. Just so much going on. So much to think about. Too many trollish comments and messages. Too many people coming up with conspiracy theories. Too many people who can't read or bother to check my comments. It's also tiresome. Life is fun, though. I don't want to scaremonger or anything, but I agree with the comments saying go to the docs if this is a recent change and is out of character, especially after the year we've had. Anything could be happening to her mental state. I lived with somebody who experienced a psychotic break seemingly out of nowhere with no prior diagnosis, and it began around sleep and sudden changes in behaviors and mannerisms. That being said, if she is just being manipulative and unreasonable, the fact that you are saying you feel the need to push her towards a dock might put the frighteners on her to admit what she's doing to prove her sanity. NTAOP. I hope you find a solution to this. Whatever you do, look after those cats. If this is truly out of character, then the ultimatum could be a cry for help. She could be lashing out at the person she is closest to since something is wrong. She doesn't know what and can't express it, so it must be your fault somehow. Source: done this 3 times myself to my partner of 11 years when I've been mentally struggling for no real reason. It could also explain her strong reaction to you investigating her. If she's already feeling trapped or threatened in some way, I don't want you to let her off the hook here, as she was still out of order. I'm no expert. She could just be an R. You know her best to make that call. Hopefully with professional help. NTA, there is no reason I can see why she feels the need to lie about your cats being trouble when they are doing nothing wrong, unless she is looking for an excuse to leave you but wants you to be the one to initiate the breakup, or she just does not like the cats. Those are the only 2 reasons I can think of. NTA. She might have a legitimate complaint against being a cat owner. It might be that your cats are wonderful little fur babies, but not everyone likes cats, and that is okay, because not everyone has to like them. But she should have said that instead of lying. Also, Did you get the cats after you two got married or something? Or were you and the cats a package deal? If you had the cats before you married her or even started dating her, then she is the major R. If you do not like cats but are dating a cat parent, you either learn to live with them or you find a new BF. You do not marry the guy and then plot to get rid of the cats. I will say this, while your behavior is not obsessive, it does feel like you have reason to think your wife was lying. And not just because of the one night that you went to sleep at 4 AM and did not notice any noise. Do you have other reasons to doubt your wife? No one should trust blindly, but usually spouses are given the benefit of the doubt. You went from thinking about rehoming your pets to double checking her story in one day. I'm not saying that is bad, but I wonder if her other behaviors are making you doubt her honesty. If you cannot trust your spouse, then there are bigger problems at play here. Cats were from before her. I only investigated because she had made a claim that blatantly wasn't true. I'd never caught her in a lie before, and since she was giving me an ultimatum, I wanted to see if the cats really were that bad. The only thing I did add to this thread that I have not seen mentioned is maybe make a point of framing things that way when you speak to her. For whatever reason, she is obviously super defensive, and it sounds like she is actively frame the conversation as an argument rather than the open discussion you want to have. One way I have found that is really helpful of dealing with that, or at least taking the wind out of someone's sails if they are doing it in bad faith, is to really strongly frame the conversation about trying to help them. Opening the conversation with, "Hey, I can see the cat situation is really stressing you out, and I'm trying to understand what I can do to help you." When she talks about you lying about going to sleep so you can spy on her, reframe that as, "I did not mean to upset you. I just wanted to get an idea of the cat's behavior myself so that I could address it. If they are jumping on you in the night and howling, maybe I could do something to address that. If I could figure out why they were being so noisy. You know, I kept notes just because I did not want to fall asleep and not remember. Especially if they were being noisy lots of times, I did not want to try and remember that all in my head. And again, the better I understand when they are being noisy and why, the more I can do to address it and help you. Remain super calm. Do not engage with her if she is throwing out accusations or ultimatums. You can keep going back to, "I can see you are really upset by all this, and I want to make things better for you. So to do that, I'm trying to find out what the problem is. Can you help me understand what is going on?" Try and be as collaborative as possible, even if she is not cooperating. Maybe you could try, "Okay, maybe last night was a one-off where the cats were behaving ignoring the fact she lied. I really want to understand why they are behaving badly. What do you think is the best way I could monitor them? Maybe we could both stay up together if you want and watch some movies or something. I know you do not want me filming you. Maybe I could record audio in the hallway living room where they are hanging out." Keep trying to move the conversation to her providing solutions rather than ultimatums. It might be she sticks to her ultimatum and says, "No, I do not care about you monitoring them. You should be able to take my word for it, and you should just pick me over the cats. If I say you should get rid of them, that should be enough." I would probably come back gently with, "And I absolutely will, if it comes to it. I know you love these cats, and it must be really upsetting you a lot if you want to get rid of them. But if something in their behavior has changed suddenly, it might mean that they are ill. I'm sure you just want to go back to having a good night's sleep. So if we can work out what is going on with the cats, then there might be a really easy fix. Image if we gave them away and it just turned out they had a stomach bug or something. Would not that be sad? Now obviously, there is nothing wrong with the cats, but I think it is in your benefit not to put her into a corner here. The less she feels attacked, even if you are not attacking her, the more likely she is going to A. Open up with what the real problem is, or B. Be willing to explore options for resolving this situation. It might not be solved in one conversation. It might be a case of slowly, with her on board, trying to monitor the cats, then moving on to gently try and explore other options like speaking to a doctor. couples counseling etc. I probably would not jump straight in on your first conversation with counseling and seeing the doctor. You can always circle back to that in a few days, weeks, if you feel you need to. If you are getting stuck in a loop, I would also maybe gently ask, hey, were you serious the other day when you said you would leave me? I know your sleep is obviously a big issue, and I will do whatever I can to help with the cats when we have figured out what is wrong with them. But is there something else going on here? It just feels like maybe you would not leave over the cats if everything else was good between us. Is there something I'm missing here? I just really want to make things better for you. Whatever it is. Just my 2 cents anyway. Obviously you know your wife better than I do. All the best, OP. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.